Today we're going to run through all the parts of my canopy setup that I would change, the things I would have done differently, and what I've got planned for the future. What's up guys? Hopefully some of you have seen my other videos and you'll know that for the most part, I'm pretty happy with how this canopy setup is going. But there's always room for improvement with everything, and this is no exception. If you haven't seen my other videos, then I'm probably going to come across as a bit of a whinger for the next few minutes, so bear with me. But it's all in the name of hopefully helping you to think about things that you might have not considered otherwise. Let's get straight into it. Let's start with what I would have done differently. So these are the things that I probably won't change now that they're done. But if I could have my time again, I would have done them differently. And first up is my slide out cooker. Now I love this thing, but if I could have my time again, I would have built it on a slide out tray rather than bolting the runners through the sides of the cooker itself. And that would just give me the flexibility to be able to take the cooker away from the canopy, go cook on a park bench or anything like that. Whereas with this system, it's pretty fixed and I'm pretty much stuck cooking right here. It's not the end of the world, but in some campgrounds that I like to stay at, you can't have your car right down in camp. You've kind of got to leave it parked up a little ways away. In the winter months, that's not a problem because I can just cook in the fire, but as soon as those fire bans kick in, I'll have to cook up in the car park. And the second thing I would have done differently, and I think I've mentioned this in a few of my other videos, but I would have put both the slide out cooker and the slide out pantry on locking drawer runners instead of these standard ones. The cooker does have these click style drawer runners, so you click to hold it closed, click them again to open, and they work pretty well most of the time, but I just find that sometimes if the track's a bit bumpy going to camp, it can rattle itself loose and then spends the rest of the trip just bashing itself on the canopy door. With the pantry, it's just got completely standard slide out runners, which makes it nice and easy to operate, but on uneven ground, it just opens itself right up. So I did build this little makeshift catch to hold the pantry shut, but it would have just been easier to put it on locking drawer runners from the start. Thirdly, and I'm still in two minds about this one, but I don't think I would have bothered with getting drawers at all. I know a lot of you probably think I'm crazy for saying that, but for me personally, I just don't find them useful enough to justify all the weight they're adding and all the space they're taking up. And to be honest, I could probably fit most of the stuff that I store in them into a couple of those little canvas organizer bags that take up much less room. Alright, the more exciting bit, what does the future hold for my camping setup? Well, there's plenty planned, so we'll just cover the canopy today, because if I include the Ranger as well, we'll be here all day. First up is either going to be adding a second battery or upgrading my main battery to something a little bit bigger. I'm just finding that a single 100 amp hour battery doesn't really cut it for me. It's okay for weekend camping trips, but any more than 2 nights and it starts getting dangerously low to that 12.05 volt mark, which for AGM deep cycle batteries is pretty much as low as you should let them get. But to be honest, that's running the fridge constantly, running lights inside and outside the canopy, charging camera batteries, charging phone batteries and all that stuff. So it's not really that surprising that I'm only getting a couple of days out of the battery. So my first thought was just to get another 100 amp hour battery, probably in a box pretty similar to that, and just plug them straight together to effectively give me one big 200 amp hour battery. But I've been doing a bit of research online, and the general consensus seems to be that if I was to buy a brand new battery and link it together with that 2-year-old battery, I would effectively be reducing the life of the brand new battery to be whatever that old one was. And I don't really want to be doing that to a brand new battery. So with that in mind, I might end up just waiting for that first battery to die and then just upgrading it to a 200 amp hour all-in-one, one go. On the subject of batteries too, I want to give credit where credit's due, because King's products do tend to get a bit of a bad rap online, but I've had that one in the back for close to 2 years now. I think I paid $300 for it, complete with that battery box. It's been discharged well below 12.05 volts, way more times than I care to admit, and it's still performing brilliantly, still holding its charge just as well as the first day I got it, so I just wanted to put that out there. Living in a country as sunny as Australia, you may as well make the most of it, so next on the list for me is a set of solar panels. I think what's going to work best for me is going to be a set of the fold-up panels, because they're nice and small and easy to store away, but flexible enough that you can actually put them wherever that sun's shining. The problem I see with roof mounted solar panels is you kind of need to park your car directly in the sunlight to make the most out of those panels. And I don't know about you guys, but when I'm camping, I like to tuck my car somewhere nice and shady and cool. Third addition is going to be remote central locking for the canopy. Bit fancy, I know, but I like to leave the canopy locked up as much as possible, and with 2 locks per door, it does get a bit annoying having to lock and unlock each time you want to open the door. So being able to press a button and unlock the entire canopy would just be a game changer. I'm still undecided whether or not to buy all the pieces I need off eBay and having a go to knock up a simple DIY system, or whether I should just buy a ready-made kit from MRT to suit my actual canopy. To be honest, I'll probably end up just buying the ready-made kit just to keep things simple. Last mod on the list, well, last for the meantime anyway, is going to be to upgrade my slide-out pantry a little bit. And the first thing I want to do is run 12-volt power to the pantry, and that's just going to allow me to do things like put lighting under each shelf, and also some 12-volt charging sockets up in this top section here. And that would allow me to use this section as a bit of a charging station for the camera batteries, phone batteries, and all that stuff when I'm away. I also want to build up a simple partition system for this main shelf here, just to allow me to kind of put a bit more organization into the things that I store there. Because right now, every time I go over a bump or anything, or a bit of a rough track into a campsite, everything on this shelf bounces around, finds itself a new spot in the shelf, and nothing's ever where I leave it. Anyway guys, hopefully that's given you a couple of things to think about if you're in the planning stages of your canopy. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.